Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Nothing But Football, the hottest football podcast on the YouTube, Spotify, and any sort of platform you can get it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Joining me today, I have Henry Hill, aka the Sandman from Spider-Man.
As always, Zach, your cinematic references never cease to amaze.
They're top drawer.
He's a pure. I marvel at you because I know you only watch Marvel. That is you'll be watching Spider-Man 12 when even when the box office is down.
Bring it on. When it's I don't know who's a childhood actor at the moment. Can't think of one, but yeah, I'll watch. Great stuff. Ben, how are you, my friend?
I'm all right, thanks. I don't think I've ever watched a Marvel film, you know.
Really?
It's not really
What, you've never watched one?
That's not cool, Ben. That's actually. Don't think you're the cool guy here.
You never even,
What's like the most popular ones?
Spider-Man, probably.
Okay, well, I've watched the original Spider-Man.
Have you
Not
watched
one with Tom Holland?
No.
Have you watched the original Iron Man, for example?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
so you have watched.
Okay, well, not any of the recent ones. I haven't watched Avengers or anything.
Not since it went absolutely turbo and
No,
crazy.
since like the event, I'd say like pre-Avengers.
You've not watched one Avengers, not even the first Avengers.
If you were, all right, let us know in the comments. That's this week's topic. If you were going to watch
Henry's
one
weekly topic.
Marvel film, well, I would suggest either Iron Man, maybe the first four, or like some of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. I think those are like the legit good
Is
ones.
Batman Marvel?
No,
Is
that's a different one.
Okay, I like that.
Oh, get your.
Shut up.
Get your facts right. Sorry.
God, what a loser, guys! What a loser.
Oh, I'm the loser for watching Spider-Man.
Yes, you. No, you actually haven't watched.
I once had a debate with Tom Holland.
Good point.
I had a debate with Tom Holland once at a house party about whether or not it was harder to be a professional at golf or tennis.
What did he say?
He was firmly on the side of golf.
He's a
I
good
was
golfer, isn't he?
firmly on the side of tennis.
Henry's a good tennis player.
Yeah,
very good
and he
tennis
kept saying, "My buddy Chris Hemsworth," and I was like,
My buddy.
my buddy Zach Jalab. How about that?
Yeah, we can all throw names around. We can all name drop. He's a big Tottenham fan actually as well, Tom Holland. So maybe I will watch Spider-Man.
Okay, well, there you have it. From Marvel Adventures to Marvel's. I wasn't quite there. Tuchel's Avengers.
Yes.
There we go. We got there. I was trying. The clocks weren't fully going at the time. It's a little bit too early for me. Anyway, we are going to be building our World Cup squad for the 2026 World Cup. Obviously, we're in the final international break of the year. The next one after this one is going to be in March. And then I think there's maybe two more really just before the World Cup kicks off. So I think it's like a nice time to talk about things. Now, we're going to be selecting our 26-man squad for the World Cup in America. Obviously, what we're going to try and do as well is account for players who, whilst they may be injured now, could still feasibly be within that team come the World Cup. So guys like Cole Palmer, who's out injured right now, Madueke, who's out at the moment, these guys can still be considered. I even want to say maybe someone like Colwell could possibly be considered as well. So, lads, without further ado, are we going to be traditionalists and pick three goalkeepers?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we have to, don't we?
That's the rules.
I know it is boring, but imagine if Pickford and Henderson. Like, what happened if they did get injured?
I know. You are right. And I think this is probably one of the easiest selections of them all. Obviously, Pickford will be going. Do we then think Henderson is the second and Nick Pope is the third?
I've got James Trafford.
Wow.
I've got Pope. I'm slightly. I get it. I think it's a bit of a woke decision. Really.
Why? Give him tournament experience.
Well, the fact is he hasn't played.
I mean, neither of them are going to play, are they?
No. It is like it's like arguing over nothing, really. But I still think third choice keeper. I think it was really telling hearing what Gordon and Barnes said the other day after that Champions League game where Pope launched the ball 48 miles. He's clearly a very, very popular guy in the Newcastle dressing room. And I do think that extends over to the England team. I know people are like, I can't just take people because they're nice guys, whatever. He's got 10 caps for England. He's actually a very, very solid shot stopper. He's probably only really played friendlies for England, so it's hard to say. Yeah. But for the third choice keeper position, someone who's quite popular, Trafford, someone at the moment, in my opinion.
He's not playing.
Trafford is someone who's not playing, and I imagine he's a bit like lost confidence-wise. He doesn't really have enough experience at the very top level at this moment in time to justify being in the England squad.
I do get what Ben's thinking, though, because obviously you're thinking essentially the next World Cup, right?
Yeah,
Is that what you're thinking?
Give him a bit of experience in and around it, get him a taste of it. I think the third choice goalie is in other than for a very unlikely event, is not going to play. I do think Pope is a good character, but I think there's also plenty of good characters throughout that squad as well. And also, there's a lot of Newcastle fans at the moment that would rather have Ramsdale in the team over Nick Pope. So then, for that third choice spot, do we then go back to someone like Aaron Ramsdale, which I think people would be very much against. So in that case, I would give it to James Trafford. I know he's not playing. I just think maybe he'll go out on loan in January or something potentially.
I mean, he needs a big January. That's the thing for him, right? Yeah. For anything like this to happen, and a loan move actually would be quite smart for him to give himself any chance of a World Cup place. I mean, God, we've seen Tuchel. We'll get on to it in a bit. Talk about Miles Lewis-Skelly at Arsenal and the fact that he needs to play if he wants to be on that plane to the World Cup. But we're not making Tuchel's squad. We're making our squad. I would still stick with Pope. I guess if Henry's sticking with Pope, this isn't the one. I guess we're going to have.
I would say it's also just not the end. Like you said, it's not worth arguing over. It's not going to be the end of the world if James Trafford doesn't go in the summer. So
okay then. Well, let's go over to our defence. Already on the plane, Pickford, Pope, and Henderson. Henderson, I think, being number 2. Yeah, well done, lads. I mean, Pickford for England's always been very, very, very good. Let's start off at right back. I think one of the best ways to do this is almost go like 2 players roughly per position, and we can kind of go from there afterwards. Right back then, Reece James, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Livramento, Kyle Walker, Ben White. I mean, maybe we fix the Ben White situation, but whatever. He's not necessarily even playing for Arsenal at the moment. So I think a slot in 100% is Reece James.
Yeah.
What are we saying about Trent Alexander-Arnold? Really? Not a chance. Like, not worth
I wouldn't hate it. I do think he can provide a little bit of a differential with his creative passing and stuff, but I think Reece James can also do that. Not maybe to the same level, but I still think he gives you a lot of control in games and is good on the ball. Like, we've seen Tuchel at times invert one of the fullbacks into midfield and kind of build up with a back three. Lewis-Skelly did it quite a lot when he first started in the team, when Tuchel first came through. Maybe you could flip that on the right-hand side, which I think almost brings the best out of what James is doing right now for Chelsea, playing in midfield and at fullback. Trent would be suited to that, but I think James is better defensively and has got more physicality to help break the ball up if he kind of almost plays as a pivot with Rice potentially in there when England have got the ball. I would rather go as the backup for someone who, I think when you look at these fullback positions and when you're kind of picking the squad, generally, versatility is a massive factor that comes into this. Reece James offers that, obviously, with his ability to play it right back on midfield, but you've got so many fullbacks that can cover both positions. Yeah. And that's why I would lean towards Livramento to be able to do that. If England did get injuries and can offer you something different. He's very solid defensively. He's got good pace. He just offers something different to what's already there with Reece James. So as much as I wouldn't mind Trent being there, I would pick Livramento.
Is it Henry at all? Is there anything to talk? Yeah, obviously fitness again. We're assuming they will be fit.
Livramento's back next week, technically.
No, exactly. Yeah, he is.
According to my fantasy.
I knew it wasn't as long term as they thought.
Yeah, I brought him in my draft earlier.
Yeah. Oh, really? But he's had a lot of injuries, hasn't he? So I suppose
he has.
He's one to worry about.
Livramento was playing brilliantly up to his injury this year.
He's always been pretty consistent,
solid.
I think.
Yeah, I like Livramento.
But why, I know Trent isn't necessarily playing a lot at the moment for Real Madrid. If he became that first choice right back by the time the World Cup comes along, Henry, does that make it a bit more of a decision for you?
If he has a storming end to the season, and I know it's weird to think that Livramento should be over him, but I kind of am with Ben. I think with international football more than ever, you need to be a bit more functional sometimes. And Livramento is a very solid defensive right back, and I know Trent does have. I think Trent's defending is often hammered unnecessarily. Like at the end of the day, Liverpool clearly miss him, and you don't get a move to Real Madrid if you're not a good defensive right back. So I mean, I think it's unfair the way he's been targeted. But my opinions on this will flip-flop a little bit. I think like Reece James is such a certified number one at right back, and he's fully won me over in terms of the who's the best English right back debate. I think now he's back and fit and showing what he can do, his leadership as well. I do think that Reece James is so solid. So with that in mind, I really don't think it's a bad thing to have someone like Livramento waiting in the wings, who has actually, when he's played for England, performed very well. So yeah, don't get me wrong. If it comes to it, Trent, sure. But I know that Tuchel's very much weighing up dynamics of the squad in terms of how people get on with each other and the blend in that regard. So he's clearly seen something in Livramento that he likes. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him back in the squads once he's fit and going forward.
I think the other thing for Trent as well, like, he didn't have the best Euros, did he, when it was Gareth's last one? And I think at times we also tried that way. He did kind of go into midfield, played in midfield. That was a really like horror to watch for England, to be honest. It just feels I don't know what it is about the idea of it, but it feels so wasteful, like having a player of his caliber, of his ability, and not being able to, like every generation, I guess, of England, there feels like there's some way where, whether it was Scholes and getting him on the left wing, or some player where basically we just haven't been able to maybe do right by them or do justice by them. But at the same time, I do like the fact that Tuchel is doing it more of a being pragmatic and talking about as a squad rather than like, let's just put all our best players in one team.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist or anything, but it's probably a lot easier to leave Livramento on the bench than it is to have Trent as on the bench for the entire tournament, because we saw Southgate basically succumb to the pressure and start shoehorning him in midfield under the impression. And it's because then like Trent did that a few times against some pretty bad teams, and suddenly we're all going, oh well, look, he can split open Lithuania with a free ball like in midfield. The point being, I think it's a lot easier to have like James there with Livramento as a very solid backup option rather than a potentially sort of storm in a teacup with Trent just sat on the bench for an entire tournament.
And again, like Livramento does cover you on the left side too. Like he does, there's another player to help you there. I'm sure we'll end up talking about another left back who can help on the right back in a bit.
Sorry, has Trent featured at all yet under Tuchel? Like going back to March, I don't think he has he?
Did he make one team? Maybe. That's a good question, mate. It's a good question that I don't have the answer for. But one of the things he is showing though is you got to be playing. That's one thing that Tuchel's shown quite consistently now is like you've got to be playing. You've got to be playing pretty well as well to a degree. The only player, I guess, in this whole time that Tuchel's really given some slack to was Henderson. Pre his move to Brentford, like he would still have Henderson in the team and consistently try and bring him through. But I think that was more for the leadership qualities he has and for the senior level he brings to that side.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of picks that are just kind of more that like naturally when you first come into a job that are more about the intangibles and kind of having a bit of continuity and
I'm pretty sure Trent played against Senegal. I'm pretty sure he played in that defeat.
Oh, I think you're right actually.
Yeah, he's got one. Right. You've got one appearance in 2025 for England.
Okay,
and I have a horrible feeling it was in that kind of
the City Ground. Yeah, I think
England's
right,
annual 4-year clanger. Where like,
Hungary, Senegal was bad. Yeah,
and the press go absolutely crazy.
Anyway,
okay then. Well, let's move on to left back then quickly. So we're going to be taking Reece James and Livramento for right back. Left back, I've got Lewis Skelly, Jed Spence, Hall, O'Reilly, Chilwell, Shaw, Mitchell. Those are our left back options.
Chilwell.
He's playing for Strasbourg.
He's playing well for Strasbourg. Doing pretty well in the league.
It was just like, to be honest, with this whole list, I've written every player I possibly can think of and find.
You say Chilwell like that, like if you think of the other names there, he's probably one of the few out and out left backs, if that makes sense. He's one of the few fully trained left backs. Like Jed Spence has moved into that position.
Yeah, Lewis Skelly was a midfielder. He's a midfielder.
He's sort of and
O'Reilly was a midfielder.
O'Reilly as well. Like Lewis Hall and Chilwell are the only they are definitely left back kind of players.
Mitchell.
Well, Mitchell too, which is an interesting one because he's not really got a look in despite the fact being very good.
Yeah, I mean he has had England appearances, he has had England caps. Where would we be going in this? Like Lewis Hall's a weird one, obviously, because he's obviously super talented. He's coming back from injury himself at the moment. I think there's been a few Newcastle fans kind of asking like, why have we not seen enough of him just yet? But again, like this is somebody who's had already, quite like Livramento, several injury issues at such a young age. You don't want to rush them back. You don't want to put them into the side way too early and they end up getting injured again. But for our England team, obviously Lewis Skelly's a big one. Being spoken about all the time at the moment. Obviously, he's not gone with this camp. Tuchel has used him before and quite successfully too.
Obviously,
we've seen O'Reilly come back into it, or it's not come back, get called up into it. Where would you be looking, Ben, at the left back?
I do think, and I'll try and take bias out of this as much as possible. I do think Jed Spence is probably a lock.
Yeah,
I just think for his defensive solidity, his one-on-one defending, to be able to, it doesn't even necessarily have to start every game. Because I think in possession, there are better routes that you can kind of go down to help England on the ball than Spence. Because it's been a bit awkward watching him at times at Spurs this season where he wants to come inside a lot and maybe get the ball nicked off him. It just doesn't add the right sort of balance. But defensively, in the bigger games, I think I'd back him to start there. But even if you wanted to see games out, just to be able to bring someone like that on, I think he's a lock. And then for me, Lewis Hall, I think, is a massive talent that I think will get a good amount of games for England at left back at some point. But with the fact that he's not playing and the fact that Jed Spence, Miles Lewis-Skelly, although he's not in this squad, are both players that Tuchel has had a very, very good look at and have been in most of the squads between them. Spence has kind of come into it more. This season, Lewis-Skelly was more in favour up until this squad. Picked in every single one, I think. I think it's going to be hard for Lewis Hall to break through, even though I think in terms of his delivery in the final third, his quality on the ball as well, and like Henry said, he is just a kind of an out-and-out left-back. I would, in an ideal world, like to get him in there, but I think he's going to struggle. I think Lewis-Skelly is, like Tuchel said, he needs to be playing minutes. I think it always happens when we get to this point in the season, just before Christmas, the last international break, where you kind of start to get to silly season a little bit with some of the transfer rumours, and you'll see him getting linked with a loan move to like West Ham or whatever. It's like Lewis-Skelly, I think, will stay at Arsenal for the whole season, because if Calafiori gets injured, which Calafiori has actually got form for so far at Arsenal, he got injured quite a bit last season, which is why Lewis-Skelly got more of his opportunities. He will be in there, and then he will get consistent minutes. And he might not be quite at the level he was last season. It might take him a while to get back up to that point, but you know this is a player that is capable of playing on the biggest stage for Arsenal and for England as well. However, Nico O'Reilly is someone that is in very, very good form at the moment. He's strong. He's very good on the ball. He's also capable of kind of inverting into midfield like Lewis-Skelly is as well. Like I said, that frame, that height he gives you as well. He's composed. I think it'd be hard to look past him. I think it's Spence, and then I'm very torn on one of those two.
I agree with Spence. I think even in the last international
covers you at right back as well, which is
he's proven. It's funny because I thought
to 3 as well.
There's a point where I thought Lewis Hall was just going to be England's starting left back for ages, and then because he's been injured, it's flipped on its head a little bit.
Left back is always the fucking issue.
Yeah,
every year. Shaw ended up being in. Like, remember Shaw? Like, what, the whole of Euros didn't feature, then comes back in for the final against Spain. Like, every single time, the left back, and it was such an issue for us for years.
Yeah.
And we've always kept putting like a right back there. And finally, it felt like we'd have like these guys that could play there. And then Hall got.
I do think that O'Reilly's just not getting necessarily the flowers he deserves. Like
he's been so good.
He is getting minutes. He assists as well. He's
been fantastic.
You can't he's got a Pep education through and through. So I would probably go Spence and O'Reilly at this moment in time.
I think I would as well.
I know. I think Lewis-Skelly, like, super promising last year. Really, I love watching him play.
You're being harsh on Mitchell.
I was at the North London.
Like, he plays in a back. Well, I guess they play actually
five.
and Tuchel does seem like he's going to be using a back four.
He's one that's unlucky.
Has played in the back four.
Thing is, I think if O'Reilly played for Crystal Palace, he'd look that good. But I don't think Mitchell, if he played
that good
for
City.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay,
so that's where I feel on that. So I actually think O'Reilly, as someone who's been playing left back for quite a long time now, I'd probably go for him with Spence personally.
Yeah. I think the thing that tips it's. I actually agree. I think I would go with O'Reilly as it stands at this moment. I think Lewis-Skelly's big game experience is a factor, but I think
is there
it's
nothing
hard
to
look
be
past
said?
O'Reilly right now.
Is there nothing to be said? And Ben, I know you might not like this, for an O'Reilly-Skelly. O'Reilly Lewis-Skelly, not mix their names together.
Spence has just proven too much.
Oh, what, get rid of Spence?
Yeah, that's my only thing.
I think from what he offers you from a defensive point of view, I don't think it's,
because I just don't know whether he, like, the inverted, like, obviously he's right for.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think he has to play in every game, and I don't think England will play like that when they play maybe against the bigger sides. I think it will be more of a traditional kind of back four. I think it's against the teams where England want to dominate the ball more. That's when, and Spence won't do that from the left. I think you're probably more likely to see Reece James either do that from the right, and play Spence on the left, or not play Spence and play O'Reilly or Lewis-Skelly. But I think Spence is such a solid option that it makes it very hard to look past him.
Okay. Again, if it comes to it, there's a whole range, like mosaic of left backs that if he picked, I'd be like, oh, fair enough.
Yeah, fair.
If he came out and said O'Reilly and Lewis Hall, I'd be like, all right, fine. You know what I mean? It's just sort of, it's such a
So say Lewis Hall is fit. So from now on, he's fit, right? Plays every game for Newcastle, plays at the same level we've seen him play for. Is he not on that plane? Like, that is the kind of parameters we're giving here, that Lewis Hall, we believe, can stay fit. Is he not on that plane then for us?
Yeah.
If we're looking within those parameters.
Then you might have to look at one of Livramento or Spence, kind of, because Spence could do what Livramento can do on that right-hand side as well. And maybe that's where you look to take one of them out. And if I was to take one of them out, I probably would, as much as I like Livramento, lean towards keeping Spence just because of what he offers you defensively again. Whereas the others give you so much quality on the ball.
I don't think you can overlook the relationship that Lewis Hall will have with Gordon as well as a natural left wing. I just think that instant click because they just know each other's games inside out. I do think that is something
but Gordon,
to
it's not like Gordon's been. I mean, Gordon. We'll talk about him later, but like
He's actually pretty good for England. Isn't he?
He's been good for England, not been good for Newcastle. So that relationship isn't really necessarily developing anyway. Where Gordon's not playing well, and then Lewis Hall's not playing. So, but then again, there is so much time between now and then. I do really like.
We can come back to it if you want. We can come back to it. Get a little astronaut because I do feel like if we're given the parameters of they're going to, injury. I was doing this together. That was the whole point. No. I would go with Hall. Just because I think like he is the guy who
over who
over Spence.
I don't agree with you.
I don't think. I know this is going to sound mad. I don't think Spence has been that good this season.
I agree with you. I don't think he's Tottenham's best left back. Doggy should be playing for me once he's back up to full fitness. But that's more about on the ball. Defensively, Spencer's had a couple of iffy moments, but he's been so solid throughout the rest of his time at Tottenham. So
part of me is also thinking as well, though. You mentioned the defensive one. There's a centre back that I think will end up going.
I think it's two actually.
Who could then go left back and cover the Spence like defensive level if we're that desperate for it. Look, I think we have to take Hall. I don't mind if it's dropped for Livramento or Spence. I don't mind, but I think
just neither of us suggested him. So.
No, I've suggested him.
Well, it's 2 against 1.
Okay, if you don't want to take Hall, fine.
I really like Lewis Hall.
I'd be taking Hall, especially if we're given the parameters like he'll be fit.
We've just not seen him play at all, really, have we?
Okay, absolutely fair enough. Hall, I'm sorry, mate. The boys have overruled.
Well, look, there's 26 positions.
Maybe we'll come back.
It could be a while.
Let's go to centre backs then. Here. We go look at maybe the right centre backs and the left centre backs.
There's 3 nailed on centre backs.
Go on.
And then there's an ambiguous
Go
one.
on.
Stones, Gehi, and Konsa.
Yeah,
those 3
absolute locks.
are, injury aside, absolutely on the plane.
They will be there.
Then the 4th position / 5th is genuinely
up for grabs.
So the other names available there, because I do tend to agree with Henry there. Stones, Konsa, Gehi, all gone. Nice.
Those 3 are head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah. The other names available: Harry Maguire, Tomori, Tarkowski, Quansah, Byrne, Colwill, Chalobah, Branthwaite, who obviously is injured at the moment.
You know, Branthwaite could be a late runner if he gets fit and is playing well for Everton.
Yeah.
I genuinely think he's only got, I think, 1 cap for England so far. If Branthwaite is fit and ready, I wouldn't be surprised if he usurped Dan Burn. Because that's at the moment, Dan Burn is in the pole position to get into the squad. Do we really think that Dan Burn is going to be going to the World Cup?
Does like him, doesn't he? But I do think
does love him. But we're not doing Tuchel's World Cup. We're doing our World Cup. Remember that, Ben?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have Dan Burn then. I would have. I do agree. I think Branthwaite's he's got to get fit and regularly playing by March, though. I think it's like that last break before the couple of friendly games before the tournament in July, so that one in March, that's crucial, I think. I don't think anybody is going to become an outside shout from March to June.
No, I get that.
So I think
there could be.
Especially in that position where it's like the 4th centre-back.
Maybe, but I don't know. I think Branthwaite's kind of got to get playing and regularly playing before March, to be honest, because he might as well just lean on Dan Burn.
Yeah.
He might as well just go, well, Dan Burn's played the whole season. Yeah.
But Dan Burn this season...
The only one that could, and I feel like you're going to say him, is Levi Colwill.
Yeah, I was just looking here to see when Levi's actually back.
I'm not as sold on him as you guys.
Really? Absolutely. I've got the bias to
He came in for a fair bit amount of stick towards the back end of last season for making mistakes.
But I think that's also... But also, I think...
He was good for a large part of last season, though.
What I find tough with Chelsea defenders is that they are... The way that Maresca has them playing, they can make one little mistake and it ends up costing a goal because of how high Chelsea are, or losing possession so quickly up in the turnover. And I think we've actually seen Chelsea struggle quite a bit with Cole not in the team at all. On the ball massively. We've seen Maresca talk about it hugely. So you're not having... If he was back by March, for instance, Henry...
Who?
Colwill, he wouldn't be on the list for you.
No, I mean, I would definitely... I think... I would definitely take him over Dan Burn at full fitness.
Yes.
Over Dan Burn, okay. But over Branthwaite?
I think that's...
You know what? I think Ben has... convinced me with his argument about fitness for Branthwaite, and I know you keep saying we're not picking Tuchel's England team, but trying to be as realistic as possible here.
Yeah.
Tuchel doesn't take me as someone who's going to just randomly pick a non-cap player who he hasn't looked at.
To be honest, that's saying June for Colwell anyway. So that's not
Really?
Right. Yeah, supposedly, yeah.
Oh,
It wasn't
I thought it was
ACL.
like
It was
eight-
Right then,
ACL,
he's
so
out.
Yeah,
He's
so
gone.
Cole's gone.
Cole's gone.
So
Maguire, there it is. So
I mean, I don't hate it being Maguire or Burn as like a good.
And
around
if
the
he's
camp,
like
solid
so
pick.
keen on these set pieces, like
mate,
But I think that, yeah, I mean, Maguire's not had a look in yet. under-
which camera am I
he
looking at? If it comes to it and Thomas Tuchel picks Harry Maguire for the fourth centre-back
don't
choice,
care.
I would be fine with it. Because let's face it, if we're losing with 10 minutes to go,
Yeah.
you bring on Slabhead and you get him in the box, and then suddenly the England loves him again.
he's obviously called up Chalobah, which is an interesting one. Someone that can play right back.
For this one?
Yeah, Chalobah. Chalobah's been called up for England. Yeah.
Did not see that. Oh, what, to replace injured players? Or?
Yeah.
Right.
So he's called up Chalobah. Anything about him? If he had a real big upturn as well, could that maybe change people's minds slightly?
How has he been for Chelsea this year?
He's playing in the left centre back role, which is, I think, asking a lot of him. He's definitely had high profile mistakes as well. But I always think there's a good player in Chalobah. I always think Chalobah is he can play for Chelsea as a third choice centre back. That's what I think his role is. He's not the starting centre back, and he's somebody that can play DM. He's someone that can play right back. He's not played DM for a few years, to be fair. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily be going for him. I'd be going over for a Branthwaite over a Chalobah, just because also we don't have a natural left-footed centre back,
Yeah.
and I do think that is quite crucial.
I think mine would be Branthwaite or Dan Burn. I'd probably lean towards. If Colwell was an absolute no-go, I'd probably lean with Dan Burn over Maguire because I think they can both offer you the sort of character that you need, even though Maguire's got big tournament experience. He seems to really like Dan Burn. Dan Burn is it's been, I think, in every single squad so far.
Can play left back.
Can play left back as well. And actually, I think he's better on the ball for England than I think I've maybe given him credit for.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
Tuchel does like Quansah, by the way. Obviously,
Gerald
Quansah. He does
like Gerald
again.
Quansah.
This is more just a topic for him to give him a bit of a minute or two to speak about him. I don't think we're going to take him, but Tuchel does seem to quite like him. He's a player who's had.
I would almost go based on these injuries. Burn and I think he'll take 5 centre back options.
Yeah,
with a floater.
really?
They normally do.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Burn and Branthwaite. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
I like Branthwaite though.
I'm going Branthwaite. So at the moment, I think we're taking Quansah, Stones, Gehi, Branthwaite. Happy lads?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But Branthwaite
Happy.
needs to get fit.
Yeah. Completely agreed. And if not Branthwaite, Burn. Just interrupting before we go over to the midfielders. If you're watching, obviously, on YouTube, this is a brand new channel. Make sure you subscribe to the Nothing But Football channel. I know so many of you have already done that. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate that. But also, if you are not, then subscribe right now. It means the world. It generally does actually really help us too. So please do that. Okay, now back to me. Ben and Henry talking about midfielders who should go to the World Cup. On to midfielders then. Let's talk about maybe the deepest midfielder here. Wharton, Anderson, Henderson, Mainu. Mainu maybe could also go slightly forward, whatever. Which ones are going? In our team, look, we don't have the same level that Tuchel has of needing to... He's going to take Henderson. He will take Henderson.
I don't really have an issue with
I
that.
don't have an issue either. But with our team, where we don't have to worry about
I pick him.
you're picking Henderson,
Yeah, I think he's fully justified his place. He has been brilliant for Brentford, who are actually a much better team. I think it's hugely telling that is one of the best signings that people are sleeping on.
Yeah,
this
mate.
year.
Yeah,
Fair play to him.
The fact that
Unbelievable.
brand new manager to go and get someone like Henderson who knows the drill and has stepped up and been a quality player in the Premier League, playing pretty much every minute. And yeah, like leadership side, he does bring a lot. He's clearly really liked. I know like the Saudi thingy has put a black mark on his reputation, but let's be honest, he seems like a pretty good bloke. Like push comes to shove. So I 100% got Henderson in this team.
Okay.
Zach, why are you giving me that tone of voice? Why are you,
No, I agree.
Okay.
I do tend to agree. I do tend to agree. My only thing is
it's not a bad footwear.
my only thing is basically if you take Henderson, you then don't get to take Wharton and Anderson.
I think
you do.
I think you take 3 of them. 26-man squad, you take 3 of them.
This is what I'm kind of saying.
It's a
Though.
three-man
If you plan it out right, you've got 3 goalkeepers. That leaves you literally 2 players for every position, right? I would go Anderson and Wharton as the 2 nailed-on defensive midfielders, but I think that leaves you room for Henderson as a bit of a. Okay, we'll get someone else.
But you guys then are dropping a big name.
Well, I've only
attacking.
got when I did the squad, I only did 4 centre backs.
Yeah, we've done 4 centre backs.
Oh, I thought you did a float. I thought it was like 4 and a.
No. We've got 4 centre
All right,
backs.
Sam. I think that works then because you can get Anderson and Wharton, and then Henderson in there.
You've got 23 players written down there. So you've
Exactly.
got 3.
No, I've got So there's 3.
cards. Okay.
There's 3.
All right. Look, for now, maybe we'll come back. But for now, we're taking Wharton. I've got literally no issue with this at all. Wharton, Anderson, Henderson, Mainu, who obviously had quite a big prominence, obviously in
he's not
the
getting in.
Euros.
He's got to play.
Won't be going, but you're right, has got to play. But he might play. He might make a move in Jan. If he made a move in Jan and went to a team where he was starting to play, does that get him
I think he has
in?
I think midfield is actually the highest barrier to entry within this squad. I think there's room for maybe someone in the forward line to potentially break through as an option, someone in the back line to maybe potentially break through as an option. I think midfield now Wharton's in the squad, barring any injuries. He loves Elliot Anderson. The players ahead of them, it's quite clear that there's a couple that are going to make a return, and it's quite clear there's a couple that he really likes. Yeah. I think that's the highest barrier to entry in this team.
Mainu's problem is he's going against 3 guys who are currently here, like playing every single minute.
Yeah.
I know some Palace fans have been saying Wharton's not been as good.
But a Wharton who's not as good,
it's still
a very, very good player.
I think if you're taking Wharton, there's less of a pressure to take Mainu as well.
Yeah.
Like,
okay,
Mainu won last time. I think Wharton's winning this time.
that's a good way to look at it.
That.
And he needs to move in January really for anything like this. But we'll be interested to see what happens for his case. Okay, moving maybe slightly up the pitch. I've got here a list of Rice, Bellingham, Garner, Gallagher, Loftus-Cheek, Curtis Jones, Mount, Shrewsbury Hall, Ramsey, Alex Scott, who obviously got the call up.
The Guernsey Guru himself.
The Guernsey Guru.
Player.
Obviously, Rice and Bellingham go. Whatever happens, they have to go. So those 2 in there. Obviously, Alex Scott has been given the call up as well. I think that's a really fun move from Tuchel.
He's a great player, Alex Scott.
But I don't think he's going to go to the World Cup.
Well, I think this is where Foden is where he comes into consideration.
I agree.
Here.
So you think Foden goes slightly deeper?
Yeah, I think Bellingham's going to probably play the 10. Or there's going to be like 2 pivots, let's say.
Okay. Well, all right, let me chuck in the other names in quickly. Rodgers, Palmer, Eze, Foden, Madison, Gibbs White, Elliott.
Madison won't be there because he's not back.
Madison's no way he's getting in.
There's no way he's getting in.
Okay. So we're going Rice and Bellingham going. Palmer's got to go. Foden, you think he's got to go?
I'm not saying this to be controversial. There's a world where Palmer doesn't get into this team.
Team, yes. Squad. Squad.
I'm just thinking, like, if you look at our right wing options, it's Saka and him currently. Like,
at right wing.
Do you think Palmer plays in the 10?
Madueke? No, he said that. Oh, Palmer. So yeah.
I think Palmer has there could be easy an argument for Palmer playing the 10.
I think Bellingham starts, but I
don't think that Palmer gets in over Bellingham or Rodgers at the moment in the 10 slot at all.
Right now, yeah, he's injured, but like. Let's think of a fully fit Palmer who's flying.
Palmer will 100% go to the World Cup.
But no.
Surely.
But is he going to Henry's World Cup? That's the question.
Surely.
Henry, careful here, mate. Careful what you end up saying here for when it's clipped up.
I think we get into a situation being like...
Palmer, Bellingham.
Saka.
You've got
Tony.
You've got to think about like...
Trent.
Say it, Henners.
I would include him. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't make it. Not because of his ability. I think he's just going to get crowded out by other players in the position that he wants to play in.
Also, I don't think... I think Tuchel, that is the last thing he'll want to deal with. Is like, I get that he's been brave and bold with some of the picks, but...
He has actually been quite complimentary of Palmer. Like,
Can you imagine if he didn't pick Palmer on the eve of the tournament when he was fit? The country were going to melt down.
All right, fair enough. Look, you charm me. But I think he's playing right wing for this England team. I don't think he's playing in the cam. And Tuchel's been very clear. He's not just going to shoehorn players to accommodate.
But I still think you take him. Like it would be so like he is such a unique player in this squad for you.
I think there's a bit of a knock-on effect.
Such a maverick.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a knock-on effect with the positions of Palmer and potentially Foden for the other players, because if you're going like I don't want to jump forward to strikers, right? But Kane and Watkins might be your guys. Kane is obviously definitely going.
Yeah, it's Kane plus one, isn't it?
He said yesterday that Bellingham he can see playing as a false 9, can't he?
Yeah.
If Kane's not fit at any point. He also said the same about Foden. He said that he doesn't see Foden as a winger. So he's been quite clear on the positions that he sees some of these guys in, like outside of maybe their traditional role. I really like the idea of Foden potentially in the games that England want to dominate the ball, and I think there'll be. Bear in mind, there's more teams in this tournament, right?
Yeah.
So there's gonna be more games.
Loads.
There'll be.
I think there's only mean there's like 1 or 2 more games.
But there's going to be more probably lesser opposition that England will come up against that we will look to really kind of blow away and dominate the ball.
8 games maximum this World Cup.
Right. Okay. I really like the idea of what I was saying about earlier about James inverting into midfield from right back to play with Rice, and then having Foden and Bellingham behind Kane. It lines it up as a 4-3-3. I think Foden has never had a consistent run playing. Actually, I'm not saying he deserves it necessarily to come straight back in, but he's always been like, I'm going to play on the left. Euros, he didn't really kind of feature or get in. Foden's playing really well at the moment, and he's playing really well, playing a bit.
So
deeper.
are England.
True.
England are playing really well without.
I'm just saying I'd like to see that. I think Anderson is Anderson or Wharton are a must for the biggest games because of what they give you off the ball. They allow Rice to push on a little bit more. Anderson is such an amazing all-action midfielder. I'm just saying, I think there are games where I would love to see, because Foden, like in deeper areas for Man City, building out under intense presses, he's been really, really good and can affect the game further up the pitch. You can have him sort of push on a little bit, Bellingham dropping a bit deeper.
This debate is what annoys me about England, is because we all agree that we shouldn't shoehorn players into the side, but then we all think that we should shoehorn players into the side.
Yeah, but you could argue right now that it's not really shoehorning Foden, considering that's the role that he's playing really well in for City.
I don't mind Foden playing in a midfield 3.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it has to be every game. I think Anderson and Wharton one of the two alongside Rice are must starters for the biggest games because of the control that it gives you and also what they both give you off the ball. I just think there could be a nice world where Rice and James are that kind of pivot almost, and then you've got 2 10s ahead of them. Bellingham can run in beyond Kane. Foden can kind of knit those little things together, actually playing in a position that really, really suits him, allowing the sort of freedom. I'm not saying, because he did go a bit absent last season with a lot of other issues and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying he's warranted to come in and have the keys to this England team, but I think there is a world where that could work.
I just think we saw the whole play Bellingham and Foden experiment next to each other at the last tournament.
Foden playing on the left though, it was like.
Do you think? Yeah, but he didn't really though, did he?
No, but he didn't
really because he kept like dropping in and they kept like. Yeah, but they also I think for the ball.
True, but I also think with the fact that they didn't have like an overlapping fullback, it was Trippier playing at left back, wasn't it? So it didn't really help Foden a lot of the time. Where if you had someone that was actually a bit more of a width holder on that left hand side. In, say, if Shaw was fit, for example, or whoever was fit that tournament, I think that would have allowed Foden more, I don't know, it would have solidified him definitely more as a number 10, and Bellingham could have drifted out there to the left, I think he's more comfortable in that area. Right. Foden
would you take Henry, Foden or Rodgers?
I think that's what it might come down to.
Yeah. What I wrote down was Henderson, Wharton, Anderson, Rice, Bellingham.
Not Palmer.
Foden, Rodgers. Well, I view Palmer in the wing situation. I think he's in the wing.
Okay,
I think he's a winger. I don't think.
So you take both Rodgers and.
There's no way that Rodgers isn't going to the World Cup.
I agree with that.
He's been so good, and they're different players. He's more destructive, and I think that's interesting.
I think he kind of sees. I think what I've liked about Rodgers so far under Tuchel is that I think he's very much kind of moulded that position on probably what he wants from Bellingham. Once he's back in the team. If Bellingham was to get injured in the tournament or something, Rodgers is your most natural replacement for what Bellingham can give you.
But Bellingham is competing with Rodgers for a starting spot in this team currently. He's not competing with Foden for the same starting spot, as far as I understand.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it will be better.
For now, I'll put them as both going. Eze.
I don't think he makes it.
I think Eze might miss the cut.
It's funny though the England team have him count as a forward. Yeah, but if you look at the graphic, the graphic is like...
So at the moment, right, so out of these guys, so I don't want to spoil it actually, so I'll leave it. But like, say for example, there's a couple of players that would be considered forwards that aren't in the squad because they're not fit, i.e. Madueke, Watkins. Has Gordon pulled out?
Gordon
I know he was in the squad.
Gordon may have pulled out, I think.
So, Zach, as far as I'm concerned, you've got 2 left wingers.
No, I think Gordon's going.
Okay, cool.
Before we get like... Because I think it'd be easier to flesh out the squad once we've locked in 2 left wingers, 2 right wingers, 3 strikers, 2 strikers,
2 strikers.
2 strikers.
I just don't know. Well, all right, right winger, Saka, done. Your other options, Madueke, Bowen.
Well, this is what I think. I think Bowen is the way I've written it down is Bowen is a third choice striker / right winger when he comes in, because he does normally. I think he's like a flexible choice to go up front or go on the right wing. I think if you're looking at the 2 starting right wingers right now, it's definitely Saka. And then for me, it's a debate of, is it Palmer or is it Madueke? And then the problem there is you've got two very stylistically different footballers. You've got Madueke, who is attack the person one-on-one.
See, I would rather be going for, I'd be taking Madueke when he's back from fitness. Hopefully he continues that same form that he had before pre-injury.
Do you see my concern about Palmer in terms of like?
I see your
fleshing out the
concern, but I
dynamics?
think it's just like I think whatever the answer you take him, like I think it'd be such a silly decision. I'd rather take Palmer over Bowen. I'd rather take Palmer over Madueke. I'd rather take Palmer over any player you're going to say. I think it'd be silly to not take him. It'd be so silly. Even if you're not going to start him, which I think is also partially silly, but even if you're not going to start him...
It's not silly to not start.
It's not silly to not start him.
It is, in my opinion. But
that's so partisan, it's ridiculous.
You
can't look at England, the way they're playing at the moment, the dynamics that he's got in that squad at the moment, with Kane, with wingers off the side. You can't look at that dynamic and go, Palmer has to play here. That is the problem with England.
There was so much value in we saw literally, I know... Chelsea fans would say this is why we all said start Palmer when he came off the bench and made the impacts that he did in the last Euros. But it also shows the value of having an option like that on the bench as well.
I agree that Palmer should have started in the last tournament. I agree when it was going wrong, it was ridiculous not to turn him into that situation. But we've moved on from that squad. It's different.
To be honest,
the dynamic is different.
It's a different point that doesn't matter for now. It genuinely doesn't matter because it's so far away for who's starting. The actual squad, I think he has to be in it.
Palmer is definitely in it for me. But I do get Henry's point in terms of
cost. All right, okay, quickly. Strikers then. Kane, done, of course.
Yeah.
I've got Watkins, Welbeck, Tony, Solanke, Delap. Delap, I don't think is going to happen.
No,
Solanke's not going to happen. Tony, there could be a wild world because he has had a call up under Tuchel, hasn't he? Or am I imagining that?
Yeah.
He's had a call up.
He played 10 seconds.
No,
he's been in other recent.
Anything for Welbeck, guys?
Honestly, if he's in form towards the end of the tournament. And those are the options. If Watkins isn't firing, which he hasn't been,
1 goal in 15 or whatever.
Like, I do like Watkins, and I do think for England he's always kind of turned up. Welbeck is the second best natural centre forward behind Kane for England right now.
Yeah.
So it's not stupid to suggest that Danny Welbeck's not going to go to the
No,
World
I
Cup.
agree. Yeah. I kind of like the idea
I'm actually really surprised that Tuchel hasn't called him up.
If we made the squad tomorrow, Welbeck would go for me.
Yeah,
he generally have to go for me.
Yeah, but I don't think he makes it.
No,
I wouldn't have him in mind personally. I do really like Danny Welbeck. I think he's an amazingly, but I think the idea of turning to Welbeck off the bench if Kane was to go off is actually better than turning to Welbeck off the bench when Kane goes off. Do you know what I mean? Like, because he's not played at that level
like
for
the
so
idea.
long. I think there's an argument to almost not take another natural number 9 and take
who was it last
Bowen
time?
as almost the backup striker.
Tony and Watkins last time.
Yeah, because Tony came on against...
Because Tony did play a little bit and Watkins came on.
Tony made the difference against... Was it the game that Bellingham scored the bicycle kick?
If Tony moves back to the UK and he's scoring goals, then I'd sort of accept it. I just
Tony to Everton in January.
Mate, they should honestly go to whoever he plays for and offer some fat loan.
The issue is loan fee actually is a possibility.
They should swap
wages.
Have you seen Beto?
What
do you like? What do you think like Beto? We'll take Tony.
Okay, I'm happy to. Should we? I'm going to put Watkins for now, but I'm also in the same agreement of like we'll get to Bowen in a bit. I think we'll see. Left wing. Gordon, Rashford, Grealish, Barnes, Hudson-Odoi, Gitton, Sancho.
I think this is fairly simple. I think it's Gordon and Rashford. Those are the two.
Agreed.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. But I don't know. Gordon's played well in an England shirt. He's been dreadful for Newcastle for like a good 6 months.
I don't think that's true. I think that's unfair. I think he has shown...
Okay, he's not been dreadful's harsh.
I think Newcastle have been bad.
Well, he's not scored a goal for them since February, isn't he? In the Premier League.
I swear to God, he scores.
In the Prem. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, currently, lads, just to let you know.
I think Rashford is the starter.
I think Rashford, it depends on the team.
Rash dog.
Top assist maker in La Liga at the moment, playing for one of the most high-profile clubs in the world. All the pressure that
not
brings.
against it.
Never ever, like for England also stunning. So I'm team Rashford.
I know Rashford. I think he does go.
My potential thinking here is that you don't take Anthony Gordon and you bring Madueke as like someone that can play on the left and the right, and then you bring Jared Bowen. Because I think Bowen, Gordon is a goal threat 100%. Bowen off the bench is like he's tenacious. He works really hard.
Yeah, I do tend to agree.
He does sniff out a goal. Like he's a good finisher. I'm not saying I wouldn't take Anthony Gordon, but I think if he carries on this trajectory that he's currently on at the moment, there is a world in which, despite how good he's been for Tuchel so far in the games that he's played, let's be honest, we haven't had the toughest test in the world. So it'll be difficult to see how that. It would be interesting to see how that scales up to harder opposition by the time the tournament comes around. I don't know.
Let me quickly go through the team we've got so far. I think we've got 24 players. We've gone Pickford, Pope, Henderson, James, Livramento, Concert, Stones, Gehi, Branthwaite, Spence, O'Reilly, Wharton, Anderson, Henderson, Rice, Bellingham, Rodgers, Palmer, Foden, Saka, Kane, Watkins, Gordon, Rashford. So we've got 2 more places. Jeez. Do we want another centre-back? Do we want another attacking midfielder? So the guys that we have, the big names that we're missing out, I guess, that could be spoken about. Eze, Madueke, Bowen, extra striker, Grealish. Those are probably the big ones, unless you want to look at another centre-back like Bruno Dangburn.
I just think, given Stones' injury records, I do think you take another centre-back. I really do. Because if Stones gets injured early doors, then I do think, like, Conser goes in straight away with Branthwaite off the bench. I do think you need...
Yeah, I don't know.
Is Gehi not your other right centre-back, though, in that position as well?
I think Gay and Conser are actually the starters anyway for me.
Like,
Stones is a
I
billion
think Stones, yeah.
Do you reckon?
I'd say Stones.
Yeah.
I reckon Gay and Conser have kind of just like, they've had a really good run at this under Tuchel now. I love John Stones. Again, it's one of those where I wouldn't have an issue with it. But I think there is an argument to say that Stones is fighting to get back in that team.
I honestly think even after the last tournament, Stones started both of the games. It'll be really telling this international break to see what happens.
Yeah.
I think Stones and Gehi is arguably one of the most secure international World Cup.
They were brilliant at the Euros, weren't they? Gehi especially. Yeah, no, I don't. I would personally say right now he's the third in the pecking order, even though I love John Stones. But again, it's one that I really don't have an issue with. But then again, like if you said Stones got injured, the fact that you've got one of Gehi it will be Concert to come in and fill in, you'd be really unlucky if then you got another one in. Like,
I think Madueke has to go.
I agree with that.
Because he covers you. He's right. He's left.
He's been really good for Tuchel when he's been fit.
He has been brilliant for England. He looks. He's having again. He's been out for a couple of months
now.
Turn
to Madueke off the bench. I think if Saka is not quite doing it or is tired, I think Madueke is so direct. Is a goal threat.
Or for deliveries from the left, like he can bring the balls in from the left easily. I think Madueke has
to go, mate.
I think. Would you be happy with that, Henry?
Yeah, I've no issue with Madueke going.
Okay,
I agree. Like he was, for me. Yeah. Well, I've said what I've said this podcast.
Then it leaves us with one more player, where we could chuck in another centre back. We could chuck in a Trent. We could chuck in Eze. We can chuck in a Bowen.
I'd rather have Bowen over Eze, I think.
Can you just...
I feel like it's harsh on Eze. Like, I don't
really
feel like Eze's been that bad this year, but I do get you mean like...
I just think, but if you're building this...
If you take him out of Wake, you can play on the left.
He's brilliant, is he? Like, he's
not been bad.
He's not been great. I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans actually the last couple of weeks being like, he's been massively underwhelming.
I don't think he's been exciting enough to justify like...
Yeah,
over.
I mean, if
Odegaard was put in the performances that he was... There'd be conversations, but
he's also a little bit of overkill. It's a bit of an overkill as well. If we're taking Rodgers, Palmer, and Foden, all guys who can kind of play in a certain
Rodgers
role.
Can also play on the left.
Yeah. Then maybe with slight overkill.
I think Gordon, by the time the tournament comes around, actually genuinely could be in danger a little bit.
I've taken Gordon.
Really?
100%.
I would probably take Gordon.
I think also Gordon's England record
I think he could be in danger.
This year has been good. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say like Gordon's been England's left best.
Yeah, and I think tactically, I think he's a good fit. Like he can, when Kane drops deep, he's perfect to run behind. Like I'm not saying that I definitely wouldn't take Gordon. I'm just saying by the time it comes around, his position, considering how underwhelming he's been for Newcastle for quite a while now.
Were you taking Welbeck or not? I can't remember.
We are taking Watkins at the moment, not Welbeck. But this is where we're looking at
between those two. I
Bowen, Welbeck, Gibbs White, Eze.
I think Bowen has to go.
Yeah, I think Bowen can play centre forward as well.
Yeah, off the bench, I think Bowen could be. It's a long old tournament there. I think the strikers. We've got a problem. Like we actually have got a problem. If you think about it, if Kane gets injured, that is a.
But I do
obviously
think
that is a massive obvious
you know,
statement, but I'm thinking about the long term as well. Like, do any of those names actually excite you? Like, I like Ollie Watkins.
That's where I think Welbeck
happens every
If
year,
you just had
like-
Welbeck, you could just sort of stick him up front and know that he'd be like doing an honest job.
I'm excited to see what happens with the lap if he gets to run of games at Chelsea.
No.
Really?
No, not me.
I think he puts himself.
What, is in to
about.
go for an England call-up?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
That red card.
I'm saying
that
no.
red
He
card.
has to get a run of games.
Oh, massively. And there's a long time before that. Yeah, definitely a long time before
I think
that.
the lap's not out of the question.
I don't think that's out of the question. I'd be surprised if he went to the World Cup having, not really been a part of the squad and like last minute. But that again is like one of those like last minute decisions where, if Welbeck, Delap, Tony, whoever's having the hottest form coming to the World Cup, like maybe they'll Bowen.
Yeah.
Like that's the one. I think for now, I think the safe bet is Bowen.
Yeah, I agree.
Your safe bet is Bowen.
I genuinely think there's a world as well, by the way. If Kane did get injured,
I
that he plays with that. No,
fucking hate the idea.
So
of
do
Kane
I.
getting injured. Jesus Christ.
I don't think he plays with a striker. I don't think he turns to.
You think Bellingham goes there?
Yeah. I don't think he turns to a Watkins or Welbeck to start. If it was like the quarterfinal, the semi-final, the final, there's no way that Watkins or Welbeck would start.
But the thing is that like teams that have won tournaments over the years like haven't necessarily had like a lights out striker.
Mate, Marino
Like-
is literally the top scoring.
Exactly.
Like,
And tell me Bellingham can do that.
like who is the striker for Argentina during the World Cup? Alvarez was all right. He wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I mean, what?
Mate, Spain won that last tournament with Morata.
Yeah, Spain won it with
Yeah,
Morata.
Spain-
France won it with
the best-
Giroud.
Yeah, the
like,
best Spain team of all time was like didn't play the striker.
If anything, sometimes your striker is actually the guy who's just the best facilitator.
Can you just run through the team one more time? For
Yeah,
me, just
okay. So let's quickly just say the last one is going to Bowen, and we'll then go through the entire team. That is our 26-man squad. If you can also just count for me, Henry, to double check.
Yeah.
Pickford, Pope, Henderson
Yeah.
are our keepers. James, Livramento,
Yep.
Konsa, Stones, Gehi, Brantwaite, Spence, O'Reilly are the defenders. Midfielders, Wharton, Anderson, Henderson, Rice, Bellingham, Rogers, Palmer, Foden.
That's unreal. That's such a squad.
Then your forwards, Saka, Madueke, Bowen, Kane, Watkins, Gordon, Rashford. 26.
26.
26. What's causing you the stress there, Henry? What's the player that you're like, he should go, we should swap this guy? What is it?
I just think. Well,
The stress on him is amazing.
Bowen, Madueke, Welbeck, and Burn are like my wild cards. Really, I just
Taking
think
two of them.
I just think if Watkins isn't playing great, you need a,
I
a
think-
more natural centre forward.
I
think-
would
I
go
think-
with Watkins as the like whoever is hot going in.
I was gonna say Watkins is. I think Watkins is there as
Yeah.
like a placeholder.
Yeah,
I think it
it's
could be.
completely agree.
It's hard to commit to it right now
Yeah.
because it's
like if we get to it and Welbeck is suddenly broken, because I don't think he scored like 10 goals or above 10 goals like ever, or something like 12 goals
Welbeck?
or whatever. Yeah.
well, he's on like 6 now, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he could
Well,
generally have the
I
highest
just think
scoring thing.
we've got one too many wingers there. When I think the centre back position is a bit too.
I also think
precarious.
Rashford could play through the middle as well
Yeah, I
potentially if he wants to turn to that.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
You know what the thing is, Henry? I always think when we do this, we always take one less defender than the actual England manager takes. You're right. The England manager does take a fifth centre back. Like Tuchel takes a fifth centre back. He will.
I think Burn will get in over Madueke.
Well, looking at this squad right now, right? The squad he's picked for, which is 25, I think he's
Palmer.
taken. He's
Yeah,
taken.
imagine that.
He's taken Burn, Gehi,
Be worth it for the
Konsa.
head That actually would be
If
worth
it
it.
came down to it, and Tuchel was like, so I was left with Dan Burn and Cole Palmer, and I went with Dan Burn. I think the nation would honestly.
That would be well funny.
I'd fucking self-combust.
That would be
I'd
so
self-combust.
funny.
The one thing I will say about Palmer is he hasn't featured in many of England's teams. He's been called up a couple of times and pulled out due to like injury.
Yeah, he's not committed
Then
enough.
this one he's actually been injured. I think he's only been a part of one, maybe two of Tuchel's camps, maybe.
Doesn't want it enough. Doesn't want to pay for the
But
badge.
if you're looking into his current squad, he has taken 5 centre backs. He's taken Burn, Gehi, Konsa, Kwanzaa,
Oh, yeah.
and Stones. But he's technically taken one right back in Reece James, but Spence has gone as well. So I don't know whether he thinks maybe Spence covers as a right back, left back. Burn also covers left back.
Well,
O'Reilly's a flat
we can
left
debate
back.
this till the cows come home. I think the 26 you've got it written down. If that was the team that's on the plane, I'd be like, yeah, fine, let's go get it. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
Bring it on!
I think we'd win the World Cup.
That man Welbs.
Okay.
It's probably going to get it.
That is our 26 selected squads.
Did we not have Burn?
We didn't pick
Oh,
Burn.
we had Branthwaite, didn't
We
we?
had Branthwaite. Before, I don't want to end it just yet, guys. I do want to keep talking a little bit about the World Cup because what is England's what is the expectation this year or next year?
Well, win it.
Got to go to win.
But if it is semi-finals,
I've never been more confident in
England
winning.
team.
To be honest, at the last World Cup, we were looking pretty good.
Yeah.
And we just ran into a France team. That was touch and go, that France
I was going to
game.
say that
We
France game was actually one of the most impressive performances I've seen England put in a World Cup in my life.
That was, I think most people
Yeah,
agree,
one of our best
that was the
chances,
two best teams that met fairly early in the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, if we'd got through France, I firmly believe we'd have beaten that Argentina side in the final. I'm still slightly miffed that
There was just something about Messi that tournament where it was just he was on one.
I think we could have, though.
It was almost written. Could have, yeah, sure, could have. Then Messi would have nutmegged John Stones and put it in the top left-hand corner.
Don't get me wrong.
Who knows?
What it left is one of the best World Cup finals.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe
yeah.
the best ever.
That at least it delivered that. But I still think like 4 years ago, I thought we're on. But now I love Southgate. I'll defend him to the cows come home. Even, but with Tuchel, with the confidence that the team are playing in right now, with we're debating world class options.
Yeah.
Almost across the board there. With Rashford back in form as well. Saka, well, I don't know.
There are some very
Bellingham.
other strong teams though. I think sometimes we say this, France are a joke.
But they're not. You say
Spain
that.
are a
You say
joke.
that. France are not playing as well as you think at the moment.
But
they're
England lost to
almost-
Senegal.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, but since then they've
True,
gone on.
but
They've
that
gone
was
on
also
passes.
an
But I feel
end
like
of-
when you look at the friendly and
at
stuff
the
like
end
that,
of the season,
that's what I mean.
like,
Same kind of thing I'd
players
say for
jaded.
France though.
No,
Like,
Yeah, I
the
feel like
last
France
few-
more recently have also been a little bit less convincing.
Let me-
Mbappe's kind
There
of
is a thing with France when they hit the tournaments, they do just turn it on.
or it goes the other way. France have got a really kind of they either
In the
are
last few
brilliant
years, am
or
I getting
terrible.
that? Well, in the last
Euros, they got knocked out by Switzerland.
they did get knocked out by Switzerland.
Yeah,
you're right, actually.
2-2 away to Iceland in their last game, 3-0 against Azerbaijan, then 2-1 against Iceland again. Like Iceland have caused France problems
Don't have to tell us about
in a way
Iceland,
that
Jesus.
yeah, well that's true.
Spain
That's true.
battered them in that game as well. The Nations League
did.
semi-final was it? I know Turkey came on. They came back
This
into it.
this is their current squad, and this is where I think there is a bit of daylight
Go on.
between us and them.
Go
Okay,
on.
so they've got Bryce Samba, Mike Magnon, who's not been great, and Lucas Chevalier, who's fine, whatever
If
he
he
plays
starts,
PSG.
they've done all right.
PSG. Yeah, PSG.
Gusto, Digne, Upamecano, Koundé, Konate, Saliba, Luca Hernandez, and Teo Hernandez. That doesn't strike. That's not
Luke McCarthy's been very good for
no,
Bayern,
man.
isn't he? But
what.
Saliba, Upamecano, Hernandez at left back. Who's the right back? Kanate was also there.
Hernandez now plays for Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. Okay,
I still think he's very, very good, mate.
Upamecano is as shaky as anything.
I don't know. He has
He's
been
been very
better.
good
He's been
this
much
season.
better. He's been. I feel like the
he's got a
Upamecano
Rick in
has
him.
got better.
There is a Rick in him.
Sorry, he's got.
Just-
arguably worse.
Yeah, just
Midfield is where you worry.
Mate, it's
Like,
definitely not bad. Like
it's not bad, but it's like
they're beatable.
the same point.
This is their current attacking options. Akliouche, okay, fine, plays for Monaco. Florian Thauvin at 32, who plays for Lens. He's snuck into the team now. Jean-Philippe Mateta, fine, but he's not going to strike. You're not going to be like, oh god, we're up against Mateta this game.
Yeah.
Shirky,
Yeah, Dembele who's out
Barcola.
injured. Dembele, Mbappe.
and Kunku's in that team. I don't think he comes into the World Cup. Like I'm talking as an
Yeah,
England fan.
but do you not
Second
think
team
French
game,
guys are going? Jared Bowen,
Spain,
like,
yeah, you
that's
are
their
right.
equivalent. It's like,
Spain are
Spain's scary.
Spain are the main ones to be concerned about.
I
Even
still think Argentina's scary. Like Brazil always have a team that
Brazil,
can be
Brazil,
quite-
Brazil's
I
current
don't
squad
actually think
is
Brazil would
poor.
win it, but like they do have.
I think we'd beat Brazil. I think we'd beat Argentina as well.
Brazil have got a forward currently from Zenit St. Petersburg in their squad. Like I'm not.
Malcolm. Is that
No,
Malcolm?
he's called Luis Enrique or something like that.
Oh,
But
okay.
I'm this. People are going to go. Oh, England.
I wonder if
scared."
Germany are going to turn up as well. Like for the
No.
last few years, I always think like, are Germany ever going to turn up? It's just not happened recently. Even at the Qatar World Cup, like they went out quite
Mate,
early,
Northern
didn't
Ireland
they?
about to beat them. So yeah.
Is that tonight?
no, they lost actually, didn't they? They lost 1-0 at Wentz Park. Voltamada.
And also I guess from the off we're saying win it. I completely agree. I do agree. But if they were to be knocked out by France in the semi-finals, is that be all and end all, or is it just we've got to see the context of how it all happens?
Yeah, well, it depends how it happens, obviously. If you play really well and you just get a bit unlucky and get beaten by a slightly better side, then you can live with that. But also,
what we don't want
has been given this kind of one tournament to go and win it. So,
and what we don't want as well is, like, I know we made it to the final of the Euros in Spain, but we were god awful during a lot of that.
Yeah, we were taught.
Yeah,
It was
time.
had one decent game against the Netherlands. That was it. Really.
Yeah.
It was a bit.
Yeah.
It was almost getting to the final. In some ways, brushed over quite a lot of problems with that
Yeah,
team.
it did.
because
Oh,
some
God,
of
we
our-
were very close to going out against Switzerland. We were
Slovakia.
second
Was it
away from
Slovakia or
going-
Slovenia we played?
Slovakia.
Slovakia.
Bellingham.
Yeah. There were quite a few games we
Yeah,
were quite
like,
poor.
Netherlands game was our best game by a country.
Do you
mile.
think?
Yeah.
Do you think then you'd say
Who
Qatar
really
is
won that
the?
game? Phil Foden.
Do you know? Do you think Qatar is so Simmons actually? Shafi Simmons.
Yeah, great goal.
Do you think
Something.
Qatar then is the best we've ever played on the pitch?
For a consistent tournament, even though we got knocked out in the quarters, probably, yeah.
Yeah,
think
I'd
so.
say under,
Even Euro 2021, like, we drew 0-0 against Scotland. We barely got past the Czech Republic, and then Croatia, that's a good win in the first game. They're a good side.
Denmark, even that was a bit touch and go at times.
Yeah.
Takes the penalty from Kane, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's an unreal free kick in there as well. From
Dude, I-
Damsgaard?
That
Yeah.
was Damsgaard, yeah.
I've got a feeling about
Germany, you don't care how you win. And we actually done all right against Germany.
We did.
We still rode our
We
luck
did.
a little bit, but
The Rashford, not the Rashford, sorry. Jeez. The Sterling.
Oh, Sterling.
Sterling was amazing in that game. That's
Yeah.
one of the bad things, like seeing the progression of England, because he was such a crucial part of England for so long.
arguably England's best player.
But then that time, I always love that video of Sterling where obviously he scores, but he gives away the ball like 10 minutes later, and then Germany go through. Thomas Muller misses, and you see him go to the floor.
Yeah, that was insane.
It was absolutely insane. Go on, Henners.
I think Portugal are going to be a real
team.
problem this World Cup. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Do you reckon Ronaldo's still there?
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
Leave the line.
He's,
definitely still there. Portugal.
I think Portugal's squad is seriously good.
How do you
But
think the
it's also
Italians are going to
Roberto
do?
Martinez, isn't
Mate,
it?
the
So-
Italians always
Yeah,
think it's
that's
such a. Italians are always
it's
absolutely god awful. They'll win a tournament.
Mate,
sometimes.
I don't think it's
there's
not even
no
qualified.
guarantee that they'll even
Yeah,
qualify.
yeah, true. Very
Norway,
true.
I'm not even joking. They're this year's Turkey. Norway are absolutely
The dark horses.
Norway-
I can't wait for that time of year,
Norway's-
man. I fucking love the national tournament.
Haaland turns up in good form. If Odegaard's fit, like
Oscar Bob.
Bob, they've got loads of. They're a problem. Norway are a problem. I'm telling you.
Naipan. Is he Norwegian?
Yeah,
midfielder?
yeah.
No, he's the midfielder
Naipan's the one
that
that's
City
City
bought.
bought,
wasn't it,
City
when they went
bought.
on loan to- Yeah.
Already getting excited, man. That World Cup fever. Bring it on. Let me know if you guys are going to the World Cup in the YouTube comments. Hope you have enjoyed this video going through England's squad for the World Cup. It's coming home.
It's quite mad to think that
We're
3
starting
years
it
ago
now.
it literally was about to start.
Oh shit! Yeah, I would have.
Christmas decorations. would
Oh
be going
god,
up.
yeah.
The World Cup will be starting.
That's so
yeah.
mad.
Mad,
4
mad,
years,
mad.
just time, man. It just flies by.
Time, man.
Do what you can. Make every day worth it, lads.
Yeah, seize the
And
day.
everybody seize the day. That's
I
the
just
one.
want to take a moment to stress that I forget that 26 people was quite a lot. So yes, Cole Palmer is in the squad. But if it was a 23-man squad,
Danger zone.
then I think he was in danger zone. But yeah,
Okay.
I apologise.
Okay. Give it 4 more years. It'll be a 30-man squad.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, boys. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me on Nothing But Football. Thank you guys at home so much for watching this episode. It's been very, very good fun. Henry Hill, the lovely people at home, want to check you out. Obviously, we're going to be collaborating this between all of our channels.
150 of you subscribed to my YouTube channel last
Nice.
week. Very exciting. Maybe that's the impetus I need. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, otherwise, I don't know. Go to Football Joe if you want. I don't really care.
There you go. Ben Bowman, double B's.
The B dog.
The B Dog. Where can people at home check you out?
YouTube, TikTok. It's kind of it, really.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
there?
Yeah, I might actually start that.
Yeah.
So make sure to link in bio.
But that's what we'll actually start the podcast on OnlyFans. But it's the exact same show we just did, just we're naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. And if you'd like to check that out, you can send us Henry money on PayPal. Guys, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you guys next week.
Merry Christmas.